What's up everybody? To set up Git on your machine, create an account on GitHub. Enter your email, create a password, and then enter that username you want. Start a puzzle. This is to prove that you are not a robot. Once you prove you are not a robot, you can click on create accounts. A launch code is sent to my email, so I need to go to my email to check to get that code. I'm going to copy it and then paste the code. It's just me and I am student. I'm going to continue. I'm gonna not click anything and just stick to the free. My account is being created. You can look around of your account. So here it says signed in as Jess-WeLearn2. We can click on your repository and it says I do not have any public repositories yet, so I can click on new to create one. Let's create test-app and leave everything selected, and it will set the main as a default branch. Create repository. This is the first repository and it doesn't have anything other than the README file. We will set up our local Git environment. To do so, go to Git, search for Git, and go to download. It's a Windows machine, so we're going to download 64 bits, and that's for my machine. Open the file, and before I proceed, I want to actually set up Visual Studio at the same time, so I'm gonna leave it like this and open another tab, search Visual Code, go to download, and download the installation package. The installation package has been downloaded. Open file and click through to accept the agreement and select the default locations. If you have previous install, you can just say yes, override it. Select the default locations, and I think I just leave the default settings and just click next and then install. Once it's installed, we will be ready to go back to our Git install. The reason why I want to install the Visual Code first is that in the Git install steps, there's a step to set the default editor, and I want to set the default editor to be Visual Code. Click on Git installation package again, click on next, click next, click on next, click on next, and this is what's important. Here it says choose a default editor used by Git. I want to use Visual Studio Code as a Git default editor, so select that and click next, and the rest will be the default. This one is important. This is Git from the command line, also from third-party software. Third-party software will be the Visual Code. Click next, click next. Now that it's finished, we can go back to Visual Studio Code, and actually we want to restart this to enable the Git and Visual Code integration. Let's close it, and I would bring it up again, Visual Code. Next, open the terminal to set up the local Git. Then you can go to clone Git repository. While it's open, go back to the GitHub page. Click on the repository that we have just created. Click on code and then add HTTPS. Select and copy. Come back to Visual Studio Code and paste the provide repository URL right here. Click enter. It would ask you for a directory to put your code in. I'll select documents and I'll create a new folder called Git. Select a repository destination. Would you like to open the clone repository? I would open in a new window. You will see that this folder test-app is created. This is the top of the repository, and in the repository there is a file called readme.md. Let's open the terminal, and in the terminal, let's verify that we have command line git access. Type git. It should be integrated already by the Git installation process. There now you can set your user Once it's set up, you're ready to start making changes. Let's make a change quickly. Under test-app, the existing line. Let's add a line called hello world and save it. Once you save it, you will see in the Git tab, there's a little one bubble that pop up. That means that you have changes that you can push to the remote repository or to commit to your local repository. What you could do is you could click on the add to stage change. After you have staged your change, you will see it show up under staged changes. You can then commit to your local repository by say test commit. You can type in any commit message and then check commit. Now that it's been committed, you can push it to the remote repository. Click on sync change. You will get a message that says this action will pull and push commits from and to or main. Click OK. A window will pop up asking you to sign in. You can either sign in with your browser or sign in with code. I'm going to use sign in with my browser. At the browser, you will see the Authorized Git Credential Manager. Go ahead and click on Authorized Git Credential Manager. It will say authentication succeeded. This means that you've authorized. We can add another change. Hello world 2. Hit save. You will see again a bubble. You can add that change. You can click on it also to view the changes you have just made. To commit the change, click on the little plus sign that says staged change. The change has been staged. You can click commit. You can add some meaningful message, but for now, I'm just gonna say my change. Commit, and again, you can sync changes by push one commit to origin/main. Click yes. Okay, because your credential is being capped, so you don't need to enter your password again, or you don't need to authorize again. Now let's go back to the GitHub. You can refresh the page. This will show you the changes that you have just made on your local machine. Hello world and hello world 2. I also want to show you that you can run Git from the command line. If you type Git at the directory of your repository, you can type Git status. It will show you that you are currently on branch main. This is the main branch. We have not created another branch. You can then make changes here to say hello world. Oh, actually, I can't make changes in the Git tab or the source code tab. You have to go back to explore, click on the file, click on the file, and let's add another line called hello world. I just realized I have a typo before hello world 3. Save the change. This time, instead of going to the Git tab, let's use the command line. Git status will show you the changes that you have made. And it shows that you have modified the readme.md. You can add this change or stage this change by git add and then readme. Do status again, git status, you will see that it becomes green. That means it has been staged. You can then do a git commit -m to type in the message. You can say my tests and then just hit enter. It would say one file has been changed to insertion, one deletion. This means the changes you have committed to your local repository. To push, you can just do git push. Once it's done, it would give you a revision number. And you go back to your repository and then hit refresh. You should see hello world 3. You can click on the commits. So there is a 4 commits. Click on it. You notice that each commit that we have made locally and then pushed to the remote, repository, each of it has a commit history. This is the initial commit, and then the last minute I make a my test commit. So if you click on it, you will see the changes that I have added. I have updated this line 3, and I added line 4. So the green is the change, and the red was before the change. This concludes today's tutorial. I hope you find it helpful.